Hello, today I am going to create a program that solves the mystic square module. You may have seen a puzzle like this before, where you need to put the numbers in the correct order. Before we do that, let's check the manual. It tells us that there is a skull under a number, a knight under another number, and we must unveil the knight before the skull. If we do the skull first, we will get a strike. First we must look at the last digit in the serial number, which is a 7. Now we must look at the number in the middle of the module, which is a 4. Since the 7 on the module falls on one of the x's, we must use this row. Starting at the blank right here, we must follow the row, and if that number is next to where we are, we change to that tile. It's better done than explained. 8, 1, 2, and 5 are not adjacent to the blank, so we ignore them. 3 is adjacent to the blank, so we move there. 4 is next to the 3, so we move there. 6 is next to the 4, and the 7 is next to the 6. This means that the skull is under the 7. Now we must maneuver the tiles until we find the knight. Until then, we don't want to move the 7. Now that we've found the knight, we can unveil the skull without getting a strike, making this module now unstrikeable. Now we must put all the tiles in a certain sequence in order to solve the module. The second page of the manual shows us a list of steps in order to find different sequences that we can use as the correct answer. However, it also shows us that putting the tiles in chronological order will always be accepted as an answer. So I am going to try and solve all the modules using this method. I won't explain how I did it since the solver has a better solution, so just enjoy me losing my mind for a few minutes. Since the tile in the middle is blank, the skull is under the 7. This is an example of a correct solution that I happened to stumble upon. The skull is under the 1. The skull is under the 8. The skull is under the 7. Even though there is one GUI for this module, it does two things. The first thing it does is ask how the grid currently looks in order to figure where the skull is. The GUI gets the grid via a text box. The user has to write down the numbers in reading order with the blank being 0. The GUI then asks what the grid looks like again, assuming the user changed the grid in order to find out where the knight is. It then uses the given grid to figure out how to solve the module. There were two parts to the solver. The first part is finding out where the skull is. I first checked if the middle tile was blank, if so it would return 7. Otherwise it would find the appropriate row and follow it in order to find the skull's location. It then shows that answer to the user. I didn't record how I solved the module, but it's better explained than shown in my opinion. I used a sorting algorithm called A*. To put it briefly, it's an algorithm that finds the shortest path to the answer using heuristics, which are basically calculated hypotheses. I won't go over how it works entirely, but this is the gist of it. All you need to know is that the program will spit out a lot of numbers, and the user must click on those numbers in order to solve the module. Let's see a demonstration. Thank you for watching the video.